by Dr. Devi Shetty, the chairman of Narayana Health, to get more perspective on the same. Dr. Shetty, thank you very much for taking the time out. So first, wanted your broad thoughts in terms of the national healthcare policy that was announced. And out of that, sir, what do you think was probably the most effective in terms of primary healthcare?
See, first of all, it's a great document which is very, very proactive and timely compared to the older documents which are still reproduction of the past. So the fact that government has committed 2.5% over a period of time and 2/3 of it will be spent on the primary healthcare is the right approach, because primary healthcare is something which should be solely the responsibility of the government, because private sector really doesn't have the bandwidth to reach out to those people. So that's a great approach, and it will have a big impact, because if the primary healthcare infrastructure is built, a lot of degenerative diseases can be diagnosed at a very early stage. You can diagnose heart disease, cancer, the hypertension, diabetes, and all these non-communicable diseases. So it will have a big impact. And also there is a major stress on the reforming the medical education and building enough the skilled manpower for the healthcare delivery, which is the right approach. And with these two approaches, I'm very, very positive it will have a big impact. Yeah.
Right. Dr. Shetty, hi sir, good morning. So as you began by saying, it's a great document. It's different from earlier documents, which were, as you said, a copy of previous documents. So this is new in that sense. But health is still a state subject, right? It's not on the concurrent list. Essentially, once a lot of this gets rolled out, how easy or difficult is it going to be to track progress?
You see, even though it's a state subject, say medical education is predominantly the policies of the center by the Medical Council. And in terms of policy, in terms of reforms in education, medical education is still primarily controlled by the center. And in terms of funding, most depend on the center's contribution, all the various policies and various projects and the various schemes they want to implement. Even progress not depends on the center's contribution. It's always a venture between the center and the state. Like in Karnataka, the government is planning for a new health assurance scheme where 60% of the money is in the center. So the center will have a major role to play in delivery of the healthcare, even though state is primarily responsible. It's a collective responsibility.
So I just want to shift away from the national health policy. Since we have you with us, I wanted your thoughts in terms of how business has been after the stent prices have been capped. I understand that some hospitals have, found it a little difficult in terms of the capping which has taken place.
See, the party cannot go on. Somebody is going to, ring the bell to stop it, because things were getting a bit out of control. I'm glad the government has intervened. But as usual, when the government intervenes, not that every aspect of what they want us to do will have a positive impact. There are some negative impacts. Like we are almost sure that the high end, the third generation, fourth generation stent will disappear from the market. It's a matter of time. So we know that the government has the right, they are aware of it, and the right kind of changes will be made in the policy. It will be painful in the short run, but long term it's good for the industry, good for the patients, and good for everybody.
Okay. So, quick question on the business then. There was some news that you all might be looking to acquire Panacea Biotech's hospital. Any progress on that?
I will not be able to comment on this at all. I just want to talk to you today about the national health policy, not on my company's business. Yeah.
Right, fair enough, Dr. Shetty. Thank you very much for joining in and speaking with us and in fact sharing your views on the national health policy. So that's the word coming in from Narayana Health. We need to take a break now, but up next we'll be discussing the commodity segment and the impact of GST on the jewelry sector. Manisha Gupta will be with us.